A great battle is about to begin. Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to some more Napoleon Total War. Today I have an insanely awesome 4 vs 4 online battle using the Napoleonic Total War free modification. And oh my god, I cannot wait to see how this one pans out. I haven't watched it myself, so I don't know how it's going to go. But I can already tell just by the way the map is set up how awesome this is going to be. So this is a Prussian vs French battle, so there's 4 Prussian players and there's 4 French players, but just straight away look at the deployment zones of this battle. It's not just like a traditional Total War battle where everyone just lines up on one side of the battlefield. There's actually strategic positions, and that's one of the things I love about this mod is the battle maps are just so awesome. They create so much interesting gameplay which we just don't really get in later Total Wars, and it's really honestly super refreshing to go back to something like this after playing so much Attila, where at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of micromanaging, but it's just 2 lines smashing into one another. Whereas this, units are slow moving, they can, you know, like really just, you know, sending your marching columns off in a certain direction is really important, and every single maneuver just adds in so much kind of strategy to the battle, and I love it. So I wanted to bring you guys this battle setup in the deployment zone because of the way they're set up. So the Prussians have this kind of reinforcing corps coming in, and then they have 3 houses they have to try their best to defend. Apart from this one, this doesn't really have a house, but I'm sure they'll probably be trying to get off this hill. They don't want to give up these hills, obviously, because they're great strategic positions. You know, they're holding the line, and that's just so awesome because, you know, in battles and historically in real life, like, holding strategic positions was so important. I feel like that's something Total War in general just really doesn't do well of. It doesn't like get the feel of like choosing the battlefield and holding certain positions. That's why we really need like a dojo back from Shogun 2 or something to give an incentive to hold a house like this, because, you know, realistically all you're doing is just cutting your forces in half. But it works really well in a mod like this where the French also have similar deployments. The French can deploy small corps on either side, like one here and one, well, actually increase the map, why not? They can deploy corps here and they can deploy corps here, but the biggest ones are coming in from the side mountains themselves, the side hills themselves, looking to try and push the Prussians off of these positions. And it's just, as I said, like, I don't want to go on about it. I know I've already mentioned it like 4 times, but you just don't get this in a lot of other Total Wars, and it's really refreshing to go and just take a look at this and check this out. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not the Prussians can hold. I imagine it's going to be difficult for them because they are so split up. But obviously the Prussian forces themselves also have, you know, the high ground, and, you know, these if they can form up good battle lines, they can probably easily like cut off one of the French assaults, because the French kind of positions over here are pretty small. So I imagine we're probably just going to be getting like cavalry detachments out in these small positions, and then the main force will go, as we do this, the main French forces will be like in these massive squares and, you know, looking to basically 2v1 the hills and bring them down bit by bit as these guys try and rush to take the defensive positions. And I mean, you know, there's a lot of woodland area around the battle map as well. So let's just jump ahead to when the battle starts, and I'll see you guys in a second. So the battle has started, and we're going to be seeing these Prussian corps moving their way into position. Obviously, they were quite clumped up in the beginning. That's solely because, you know, of the deployment zone. So now they're going to be reforming up, preparing their battle lines, getting ready to engage the enemy. And as we can see right away, I think there's actually an entire French corps set over here, I'm going to be calling the players corps just because it's kind of easier, but I think this is an entire French corps right here. They've got a lot of cavalry on the front line, a lot of these chasseurs, and they're going to be supported by line, and I imagine some light infantry as well. What do we have here? I've actually heard of the 76th, so yeah, I've heard of them before, so they must be pretty decent. And they're going to be pushing up. Maybe it's just because I know of a Mountain Blade Regiment. That's hilarious. And they're also coming in from over here. You have a cavalry who could deploy down here. Has actually sprinted its way across to reform up. So it looks like right off the bat, the French are going to be going in and trying to engage this before the Prussians can set up. And this is not a bad, you know, idea. A lot of the cavalry is going to be pushing its way in, and Yeah, wow, this is going to be a great charge as the Prussian and French cavalry do clash into one another. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit scary because the Prussian line is right there, and they're going to be forming up. You can see forming square and unloading their shots, and that does terrific morale damage against the French cavalry. And this is actually really working out with the Prussians because these square formations, these musket volleys are racking up the casualties and taking out a few horses. But one of the main things in Napoleon is just simply breaking the enemy more than anything else. It's not about killing, it's about breaking their units and ridding them from the battlefield. I think over here the Prussian cavalry is maybe overextended just a little bit, and they're kind of getting, you know, punished because of that. They are going to try and retreat back to its line, you know, where these squares can really help off. Oh my god, but the French cavalry just showing its like sheer numbers as the Prussians do form up an entire wedge around the battle line. I'm going to have to make sure, I'm going to have to go on slow-mo just for a little bit because there's a lot going on in these early stages and I don't want to miss any of it because it's all such awesome strategy. So the French cavalry did actually manage to beat this Prussian cavalry player over here. He did take heavy casualties, and you do got to remember this is probably two people's this is like two people's cavalry. This is the French corps over here and the French corps right here. So, you know, the Prussians are taking out a large amount of the French horse, which, hey, is not to be complained about. We're also going to be getting the Prussians leaving this hill, and they're going to be looking to re-support the other ones, as well as this other Prussian corps is looking to kind of stamp out the French cavalry force, and I imagine they'll have some line over here. So basically looking to kind of like meet up with these two defensive positions. So the Prussians are looking to kind of abandon one of the hills, use the other reinforcement corps to kind of supply the other one, whereas the French are looking to gang up before this cavalry can make its way over in the battlefield. I mean, we do have a lot of Prussian infantry moving its way forward. So something I found out that I was told by the guys who play this mod quite heavily is that the longer the line is, the less morale a unit has. However, it gets a lot more gun shooting, whereas if a unit is really compact and dense, for example, like this, I mean, this is more like marching column, but maybe more like this. The more condensed it is, the more morale they have, but obviously they only have a couple ranks of musket shooting. So I thought it was like a really nice way to kind of balance out having a lot of musket shooting and just having a lot of dense formation. So when you see people with formations like this, you know, it's going to be because they're trying to keep them around nice and high. And oh baby, look at these Prussians. They're in some nice ass uniforms. That's really cool. If we take a look at the map though, oh my god, look at that map as the French are starting to come into view. You can't see all the French forces, so all the blue isn't like fully shown yet. But yeah, that's not looking great for the Prussian force upon this hill right here. They are being completely surrounded right now by the French line. I think this French line was looking to basically just get into the woods giving them more cover, resistance against misfires. Also, do keep in mind as well that it's raining, so the accuracy of these muskets and misfires occurring is going to play an impactful role in this battle, so do keep that in mind when these lines do face up against one another. So I think this is the last French corps is now coming into view. They are bringing up their, you know, more of their infantry lines. We have some more cavalry over here, and they're going to be looking to assault this hill right here. I mean, it looks like the Prussians have a fairly well defended area. They have, you know, obviously one of these buildings. I love these buildings. They're so cool. They really are, besides the fact that they're levitating. But besides that, these buildings are really cool because it kind of just gives you like a really Waterloo feel. As the commander, this is just a runner right now. He's like, Sir, the right flank is completely overwhelmed. Send reinforcements. It'd be so cool if you could send runners between you know, corps and companies and stuff. That'd be awesome. But yeah, this Prussian defense is going to be hit very hard. It doesn't look like they have a complete support right there. I think they're waiting for the other Prussian corps back here, the reinforcement Prussian corps, to reinforce, as this French force is completely maneuvering around. Yeah, they do not want to engage the entirety of the reinforcement corps. Oh no, I think I know what happened. Yeah, they kind of abandoned the hill to come down and maybe hold this and try and kind of bottleneck this French corps as it goes off into fog of war. However, that's going to leave this defensive position kind of vulnerable right now. They do have a fair amount of dragoons, and some cannon as well set up. We're going to see these cannons getting ready to shoot. But it's going to leave them, you know, outnumbered. If the French are quick, they could probably storm this position. But it's always very hard. The first shot's going off. I think that did rattle between... Oh, they're trying to hit the French cannon. Nice. Have they killed the general? What general went down? Enemy general killed. Oh my god, what? Was he over here? Was it a French general, like in the artillery unit? No, he can't have been. I don't think that's correct, but maybe it was. Maybe he was just like glitched out here. That's not bad though. Killing a French cannon right away is going to really help out. We do have some Voltigeurs up here though. The light infantry, the skirmishers, are going to be up here exchanging the first couple volleys over on this left side of the hill. And by the way, guys, if you want to see more of this Napoleonic Total War 3, battles like this, epic 4v4s with immense strategy, let me know in the comments down below and hit that like button. You know, if these videos get a lot of likes, I'll be more than happy to do more of them. So we're actually going to be seeing a mass cavalry movement here. There's a lot of like rifle or carbine cavalry right here going in, getting some shots off onto the French line. We're also going to be getting a charge off on the light infantry. What a great little cavalry charge right there. I mean, the hussars did take a lot of damage or morale damage on the charge, but they're going to be able to, they're actually going to be repelled. Wow. Yeah, I mean, charging infantry head on is deadly because you just get that full volley, but if you can get into their sides, even against light infantry, you're going to be doing great. And I think these three kind of elite battalions did also get their volleys off as well. So I think something I've noticed quite heavily in Napoleonic Total War 3, the mod, is that the smaller the unit is, like starts, the more elite it is. So these groups of like 74 men, they're going to be doing a lot. Whereas if you see like a regiment with like 400 men in or something, you know, maybe it's not going to be as great. So the Prussian corps right here, with its support of its cavalry, is just trying to kind of, you know, wild off a large portion of the French line. And there's just so much maneuvering going on right now, and I love it. Like, both sides are just not committing to a full-on engagement. You know, they're trying to kind of outmaneuver their opponents. We are getting some more marching column infantry going back. They're looking to reinforce the hill as quickly as possible. But maybe abandoning this hill just was not a great idea, because as you can see, there's a lot of French line, you know, approaching fairly quickly on this position, and they're going to be, you know, hitting away on these Prussian houses. But, you know, this is a really good defensive position, and I think something you guys have to keep in mind as the musket shots just echo over my voice. Something you guys have to keep in mind is that you might just say, whoa, he has all the numbers, why doesn't he just charge forward and overwhelm the Prussian force? Like, advancing under fire is brutal in this mod, much like it should be. You're basically just getting shot at by cannons and by muskets, and like you're just told to move forward. Like, no, the average person will be like, I don't want to do that, unless you're like an elitely trained infantry. So you have to be very careful when maneuvering, and you don't want to just like charge the enemy ranks, because bayonet combat was so brutal. So, you know, you have to kind of take it slow. And I will say as well, these replays are taken from the Napoleonic Total War Discord. So they're like, all the players playing this have played this mod for hundreds of hours. So everything they're doing is good. So don't just be like, well, in normal Napoleon Total War, I would do this. Like, just you know, these are really top tier players. So the strategy and stuff they're doing does all make sense, and you just don't even have to question it. I just thought I'd say that in case, you know, I get people who've never seen this mod before and are just curious why stuff's happening. Just, you know, it's happening for a reason. But yeah, the French line is coming in. They're just basically trying to surround the Prussians right now, defending this hill. But the Prussian reinforcements are almost here. Not only do they have the line of the hill over here reinforcing, they also have men moving extremely quickly along the road, looking to basically cut the French army in half right now. We are, however, seeing the French doing exactly the same over on this side of the battlefield. They've basically drawn a wedge by moving across here between the Prussian line. And the Prussians are going to be very careful now. These guys could just stop. I think they're running into position right now. Yeah, the French line is in hot pursuit, and they're basically just cutting off the Prussian defense right now. And, you know, this entire Prussian corps, which is stuck upon this hill, is just completely left alone. They still have their cannon shooting. I don't know what I think their cannons are shooting the French line as it tries to retreat, but that's a really nice maneuver right here by these two French corps. They basically completely cut off the Prussian defense. And now the Prussian defense is just sprawling to try and reform up. They've got their cavalry getting ready to face this French corps. And they are also losing quite a few men right here. The cannons are about to go down as well. Wait, what's happened to the sound? Okay guys, sorry about that. I had to quickly reload the replay. For some reason the sound was just being all weird, but hopefully it is okay now and we're not going to be missing anything whatsoever. So as you can see, the French corps has basically tried to come around to meet up with the one which was attacking the hill. However, the Prussians have basically left this road. They're allowing this kind of corps to retreat and be like I guess a vanguard retreatment force. They're basically just fighting loads of rear engagements, trying to slow up the French as much as possible, whilst the one which came along the road has completely maneuvered its way around and is looking to engage this. I mean, at the moment, there is a massive melee brawl as the French just try and break their way through here upon the house. But the Prussians are just sitting back and having the time of their lives right now. As you can see, the Prussian line is, happy to duke it out with the French here whilst they're so kind of mixed up. We'll have to go out with another volley, I would assume. No, they've been told to hold fire right now. They don't want to engage. Oh, there we have it. They're going to be unloading their volleys right there. I mean, this entire French line is just kind of running into what the Prussians want with this huge cavalry engagement. And, I mean, they're getting beaten back pretty heavily. Again, they're just kind of maybe trying to buy time for the French to do exactly what the Prussians are doing to them. They're trying to just advance their reinforcements in and kind of close off this area. They do also have some French infantry along the road as well. These guys have come along from this kind of hill attack, as the hill attack is still going on and it's pretty fierce. I love how you do have these soldiers in like these buildings. I always love this, shooting through the defenses. Always looking very, very cool. There's just a lot going on in this battle right now. So many strategies as both sides tried to kind of take out one another. I mean, over here as well, you can see the core of the Prussians upon the hill is doing absolutely fine. There is just a massive melee engagement as the French do try and take on the Prussian cavalry. But I just feel like this was just a bad maneuver by them. They're overwhelming. I feel like the French had the advantage. They just had to bide themselves time. But maybe they felt like they needed to engage quickly, because at the moment the Prussian cavalry is just tearing apart this entire French corps and it's just not looking good for them whatsoever. I feel like that was just a big mistake by the French to kind of overcommit like that. But maybe they felt like they needed to have a quick kind of consolidated victory right here to then allow their allies to come in. The force has come off the hill as well, so we're going to be getting these soldiers using the road. The road does give them extra movement speed. So this entire Prussian corps has now come off the hill over on that right-hand side, and they're going to be making their way, hopefully, into the back of the French. Now, imagine the French are going to be doing what the Prussians have been doing, fighting loads of rearguard battles to start this force, sending a couple, a detachment of, three fairly, highly trained infantry back here, and with some light infantry, is hopefully just going to slow down this entire corps as it tries to make its way forward, whereas the main French line continues to push. No, it looks like the French line is actually going to maybe just reform back here, seeing that the defense over here has been completely shattered by the Prussians. They're looking like they no longer want to engage that. And the French are in full-on retreat right now. They're pulling back from this engagement. Yeah, they no longer want to fight here. They're looking, I guess, to try and just form up a battle line right now, but they're kind of cut in two. The Prussians have also set up a little defense over here in the woodland area. I mean, they're going to be covered fairly nicely. I don't really know what these French are shooting at. Oh, the French are shooting at some of these routing Prussians right here. And that's another really cool thing about this mod is, you can actually have rear guard defenses and stuff like that, You can have, you can dispatch a couple units of infantry, like this small little detachment right here of the overall corps, basically just to hold up an entire Prussian corps. And that's like, that strategy actually works in this game, These guys will keep these guys busy for, a couple, 3, 4, maybe even 5 minutes if they wanted to. They'd obviously lose their lives, but that's just a really awesome strategy. You just, again, don't get in any other Total War, really. You don't get these positions where, having a rear guard to hold up an entire Prussian corps whilst the rest of you guys gang up on the other Prussians. Like, you just don't ever get that. It's just really awesome little things like that just make this mod amazing and really kind of show the potential of Napoleon Total War. So let's zoom up the map and see how things are going. So it looks like the Prussians have basically completely met up with the other corps. I think 3 out of the 4 Prussian corps have all met up. I think as well, there's only about 3 corps left of the French as well. They lost basically the entire corps over here. I know I keep on saying corps, but I don't really know what else to call them. I guess players. I don't know. I'll work on my terminology for sure, and you guys can maybe give me some advice as well. But they basically lost this entire player over here. He was kind of segregated. He was always cut off, and I think both the Prussian players over on this left-hand side knew that, and they tried to kind of stop him from ever meeting up with the French. But I mean, he really just got massacred by the Prussian cavalry. Now we do have the French basically getting sandwiched in, but they're kind of wedging between the Prussian lines. So I think for this battle to really go down, the Prussians are going to want to try and curve in and meet up their line like so, you know, kind of just cut down this thing, and that'll force the French back. Because I think that's something as well that this mod does really well. You see the ebb and flow of formations. If the Prussians move round here, this French line is going to retreat to stop itself being completely enveloped, and you just have that like elastic line, which I really do enjoy it. But that'll be enough of me sucking the dick of this mod, because I mean, it's amazing. But also, you know, it's heavily down to the players, because these guys are so veteran players. You know, they know, you know, when to do stuff like that, and it just makes for like it might not make for the most like exciting cinematic battle, but strategically, I don't think you get much more than this right here. You really don't. So yeah, the French line is going to be pushing, and hopefully over time as well, I'll get to know more about these units and stuff, so I can say, oh, this unit's really elite going up against a pretty weak unit. I can actually get more determination of like what side's going to win. Yeah, this is looking very scary. So this Prussian corps basically decided to charge it, or to hold up here, whilst the French are going extremely aggressive, using the road, the easy terrain as the road, to basically try and cut in between the Prussian line and surround it as quickly as they can. However, this entire Prussian corps is going fast. They've left a small vanguard back here, again, to try and slow these guys up. I imagine these guys will be reforming fairly quickly to meet these guys. So this is kind of like the rear guard right now to try and slow up the Prussian line whilst they go really aggressive down here. And they're aggressive they have gone. They've moved 3 line round here. They've thrown a lot of infantry into combat against the Prussians. That's going to rout them. The numbers are just far too superior right now. Just look at that. There's just so many lines, everyone moving forward. Bloody beautiful. So they're going to be breaking their way forward, and they might just be going in like a horrific charge forward. The Prussians are trying to form up, and they've actually managed to segregate these guys. I think this has obviously been mismicroed right here, and they're just being cut down. Hopefully they'll be noticed very soon. Otherwise the French are going to really suffer. We're finally getting the reinforcements from the French corps units that were all the way over here, the companies, who have made their way down to the road, across them now up to reinforce this French division right here. We do also have some Voltigeurs over here as well. They're going to be doing some light action, skirmishing against the Prussians. A lot of these Prussian shots, I think, are going overhead, focusing down the French line back there. Even got some cannon set up as well. But I think the main kind of vocal point is this going on right now, as the Prussian cavalry come charging into the backs of the French line, and they're just going to be getting the hell out of there. They're going to not stand a chance. And also something interesting to note, which is actually really useful, if a unit has that square symbol next to the unit kind of name, I'm pretty sure that means they can form square. So a unit like this can't actually form square, which is pretty interesting to note, whereas a unit like this and this can form square. So just keep that in mind. Another general has gone down. The Prussian general, I think, has been slain by the French cavalry. The French cavalry does just now get rear charged though, and that's going to rout them. I think they're trying to pull out right now, but as they pull out, I'm sure they're going to be getting cut down by the Prussian horse. The Prussian horse has really shown its worth this day. This is just such a huge melee right now as well. The French are just going balls to the wall, trying to use their dense formations to simply break out the entire, ranks of the French. More French cavalry coming in as well. I think actually being repelled by a Prussian square. They did get repelled by this Prussian square. They should be able to deal with these guys quite handedly. But all this time, the Prussian cavalry... Oh my god, that horse has got shot point blank. All this time, the Prussian lines are reforming. Finally, the French have realised this, and they've turned their ranks round to hit away at their enemies as well. And it looks like this French charge, you know, it was pretty reckless, but it looks like it's kind of come out big, noticing that maybe the Prussian force over here isn't at elite. I think these guys are all militia. Yeah, I think this infantry right here, the Landwehr, are all militia infantry. So seeing that, they've gone ahead and deployed a couple more of their elite infantry against the Prussians. And now they're just using the rest of their men just to basically chain route them, you know, these heavy infantry, along with the support of their cavalry. I mean, I do think the Prussian cavalry is coming out on top, but the French numbers here are really doing their job and it's allowing them. However, because of that, they're also receiving, you know, negative stuff on other flanks. That canister shot, man! Because the French corps has committed so heavily over here, they're kind of leaving their other brothers completely out in the woodland right now, undefended. You can see a lot of the Prussians are now moving in, and they're basically just taking care of a lot of these French positions, which just don't really have the manpower to do anything. The cannon has been overwhelmed as well by the cavalry. However, the cavalry was then repelled by the French line. Again, if we take another look at the map, we can see that the French have done a great job over here. However, the Prussians are doing exactly what they need to do, and they're kind of cutting this French line in half right now, cutting out the communication, the supplies for maneuverability. And I feel like the Prussians just have a lot of numbers right now, as you know, the back and forth just go in. But however, if the French can overwhelm this position, which it looks like they are doing, there's only a handful of good Prussian units left, if any. It looks like there's just a bunch of militia over here. Granted, they have a lot of guns, and they have the high ground as well. However, you know, it's only going to be a matter of time until they just get outshot and routed. The French are falling back, though. They don't want to overcommit to this, so they're going to be retreating back now. I think that was an extremely successful, just full-on charge right there. For how full-on charges go, I think that kind of turned out pretty well for them. But they have realized that the field is not looking great for them, and they're going to be just trying to pull out as much infantry as they can. So back they go. Back they go indeed. Trying to just retreat out of there. And then they'll reform elsewhere, I think. Yeah, I mean, as they're saying, it's not looking great for them. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the French have some really strong units left remaining. I mean, the Prussian ranks, though, are just looking so deadly. You can see how dense they are as well. You know, they don't really care about just getting as many guns fighting as possible. They know just the more condensed their ranks are, the more morale they have, and they can get some real good focus fire on as well. I imagine it also helps with accuracy because all your guns are focusing on a single focal point. I think just Napoleonic Total War in general plays by the route of, like, if you have a really, really condensed line, you're going to hit just directly in front of you. There's a lot less spread on your shots from side to side. So when you have like a dense line like this, you know, it just basically means a lot more of the shots are, you know, focusing on one small point. Oh, that cannon shot, man, is brutal. But they're going to be able to overwhelm the French guns right here. There kind of needs to be something over here to help out. But no, yeah, we do actually have the French cav coming in as well, looking to throw back the Prussian attackers. Not a bad maneuver right there. The rest of the French line is completely reforming, looking to cave itself in. They just don't have the numbers right now. Over on this other side as well, the Prussian line has decided to come off the hill in their greater numbers as the French are completely trying to retreat. And we've got some infantry being sent back here to kind of guard this side, allowing the French to kind of almost fall back in. That's awesome right there. So these three units, is it companies? Are they called companies? I feel like companies a few more than this. Or regiment. Yeah, it'd be regiment, right? Or maybe it's regiment. Just let me know. Educate me down below in the comments, because I want to be able to pronounce these right, because it just makes the video better. I'm going to call them regiments. Company seems like a lot bigger than what I'm thinking. So yeah, these regiments are going to be, you know, coming in here. It's just really cool, because these three regiments going here is basically stopping this entire what remains of this French corps from being completely cut off from the rest of the infantry. It's giving them time to basically just hook back in and reinforce wherever they need to go. I mean, at this point, I think the battle is looking very good for the Prussians, so it doesn't really matter too much. But just having strategy like that, you know, I'm sure there's other battles where doing that adds in so much, you know, strategic value to the battlefield. The Prussians, though, are just using their numbers to engage from the front, hammer their cavalry in the back. And I think a lot of this maneuverability all came down from this huge cavalry engagement. And the French losing a big portion of their horse at the beginning of the battle definitely hindered them. And the Prussian cavalry, granted, they did also lose a lot, but they kind of managed to, kill just so much more. I love the way, though, that the French basically just cut the Prussian army in two. That was really, really awesome in this battle. The French did some amazing things. I think it was just the biggest kind of blunder was this engagement right here, where they just try to use their weight of numbers to smash through the horse of the Prussians, and it just didn't work for them. And then that just meant that everywhere else, like every other corps around the battlefield, was just so outnumbered and couldn't really do much. The French are still putting up some good fights though here. Oh, that was awesome. They are being completely broken in right now. It does look amazing. I wish there was just more cinematic options. Like there was like the cinematic K where it puts down the black bars. I wish that you could zoom in better. I know you can zoom in like that, but it gets really laggy. I don't know. It does still look quite cool though. I mean, that does look awesome. Prussians looking to fall back from this position. I wonder why they're falling back from this position. Are they looking just to reform or what? Like, there's situations like this I still don't quite understand in Napoleon. Like, are they just not wanting to engage this? Are they looking to reform? Like, why? What's the decision here? Like, why don't they just want to have a prolonged engagement? Do they just not want to fight these better, more elite infantry or what? Be interested to find out more about that. And here we go. The French line is trying to curve its way back in. You can see it's been overwhelmed here, and the French have fallen back to make their last little stands right here. It's basically really, really visible, everything you can see right now. The Prussians are moving in. The French are looking just to form up basically a box as they get strangled into submission. That's pretty brutal right now. So why are the Prussians giving them an opportunity? Oh, but I could probably guess why. Because what, there's like 6 units of French guns here, whereas there's only 4 units. So they're going to be getting outshot, so maybe that's why they want to pull back. But I wonder why they didn't just pull up the hill or something. Yeah, I don't know. As I'm obviously still learning this mod quite heavily, so it's just always an interesting thing to keep a track of. And hopefully you guys can educate me on some of these certain things, like why are people maneuvering like this, in the comments, so I can do better commentary. Oh, a Prussian cavalry charge coming in, trying to hit some of the light infantry as they do try and retreat from the battlefield, or try and fall back. As you can see, the entire French line is falling back right now, trying to hold these certain positions. I do like this at the crossroads though. We have a lot of French guns focused down onto the Prussians. They're going to be doing some good damage on them, for sure. That's a lot of volley fire. Some good shots right here. Oh, is this some Swiss? Is this Swiss? Are these Swiss guards? Maybe. They could be Spanish as well, though. I mean, they look kind of French, obviously. Look at that in the distance as well. There's a big push off onto the French line. The Prussians are just going full force. They can smell victory. This entire corps, I think this is like an entire player coming in from over here, has pushed off the hill and is now making his way around. We got the rest of the infantry all formed up here as well. And yeah, the French are just going to be done for, especially once these guys maneuver their way in to kind of cut these guys off. I mean, look at that battle line though. If we just zoom in again. And a really, really nice thing that the Prussians can do, because they have the numbers, they can leave some men back shooting, and then whilst... Oh, that was a brutal volley, though. Loads of these Prussians just went down. But as I was saying, like, because they've got so many men, as the Prussians shoot the French, they can also throw up infantry as well. And I believe these are grenadiers because of the thing above their hats. I believe the grenadiers have something like this, and then is it the guard infantry have like plumes, or maybe it's the other way around? Like the grenade, like, oh, maybe I need to, like, I'm gonna be learning this. This is like my second battle, so with your guys' help, with likes and comments and letting me know, educating me on stuff, so I can, basically just tell if a unit's elite or not. by a glance. Hopefully we'll get there eventually. And I mean, I definitely want to do more of these battles because just think of everything that's happened in this engagement so far. The different positions on the hills already, the decision whether from the French corps whether or not to engage certain things, the outflanking, the cutting between battle lines to segregate the enemy forces. We had a massive engagement over here, we had an engagement here, we had one right there, we had one over on this hill, you know, we had people coming in. It's just so awesome. I need to stop just saying it's so awesome, that must be annoying. But it really is. Like, you can tell when I'm generally just excited and enjoying battles because I just go on about it non-stop until I bore you guys. But hopefully this will be the last time I do it. I'll try my best. There is actually a few line over here. Yeah, a few grenadiers over here, actually. Yeah, I think grenadiers have the plume. I think, but I'm not sure. This looks like a detached cavalry unit as well. With, like, some of the helmets they have. They have, like, cavalryman helmets. And they're just going to be taking on the last of this this Prussian infantry line right here. They're going to be getting a volley off. But yeah, great defense by both players in this engagement. And unfortunately, the French line is just completely surrounded right now. Nothing left for them to really do. They're trying their best, but yeah, it's not going to succeed. They're being shot from every side. Now we're going to be getting a charge in on them. The French are trying to kind of, you know, reform up. There's a rear flank as well. It's going to break them right off the bat. But there's a few, you know, still, like, there's still a couple French regiments left remaining around. But yeah, most of them are routing now, just down to the sheer pressure of the Prussian numbers. There's still a lot of Prussians left remaining. Another cavalry charge coming in by the French. I think this might be the French. Oh, this is just a French dragoon unit. And they'll probably be able to rout these guys. You can see that these musketeers are running away now, running away for their life. They have actually garrisoned a few of these positions, and these guys can't form square either. None of these guys can form square. Now they're just being cut down as they try and flee the battlefield. So I think that's going to be it for the engagement. What a great battle that was. Really good. We just have a few French units left remaining, but I think that's literally it. A few kind of scattered resistance just sticking around the battlefield. Not really going to be, you know, doing much now that the Prussians can just push in their full strength of their army. Yeah, and that's going to be all she wrote. I think, yeah, we just have two brave dudes who haven't routed yet. Somehow haven't routed. But I mean, they're going to very soon, I think, as they maneuver around and just, yeah, obviously feel the whole weight of the Prussian army. So a great victory for the Prussians. I want to say a massive thank you to the Discord for letting me cover these battles. I really appreciate it. And guys, you've just done, these battles are amazing. So we'll stick around until the last French units are killed so that we can, I mean, I guess we'll watch their last stands right here. Oh, I say that and it's already over. Yeah, so I guess we'll stick around just to see the kills and stuff. It'll be interesting to know how many what corps really excelled in this battle. So here we go. Let's see the kill wise. So yeah, I think this was the corps that just, you know, the plan just didn't work, unfortunately, for the French. Maybe in another time it would have worked. It's just that time the Prussian cavalry was just so many there that they only managed to get 600 kills and basically lost the entirety of the corps itself, which was just unfortunate, really. Over on the other side as well, we can see there's a similar losses to kills though on Nico's corps as well. He did bring a lot more militia by the looks of it. Yeah, he had almost 3,000 soldiers, so it's probably, you know, his losses aren't as proportionate as say this player, because he brought a lot, you know, more quality, I would assume. Who got the most kills though? Oh my god, yeah, this corps right here did amazing. 1,900 kills. That is pretty impressive, and only lost 900. They're definitely going to be, you know, they're going to be definitely having a Medal of Honor. If we look at kill-wise on just this player, you can see, yeah, his cavalry, both top kills over, you know, almost 500 kills just on his horse. The general even doing pretty decent as well. Good on you, von Blücher. You did a good job, my man. And then we got some other infantry also doing a great job. But yeah, that was an awesome battle. Thank you guys very much for sending it my way. If you guys want to see more epic 4vs4 Napoleonic Total War battles with awesome map strategy and everything else, let me know. Also, please give me advice down below on the stuff I asked throughout this video of like tips on what to call stuff, you know, why people are doing certain things. I would love to learn more, and I'm sure other people would also love to learn more as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.